All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, everyone? This is Sheets, and welcome to week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, for real, of the Survivor Pool experience. We're going to be just doing a recap of week 13 and give you kind of a preview of how content is going to look as we get down to the end here. Because I talked about this really early on, even before week 1. And I want to emphasize what that's going to look like from here on in. So again, if you're not a premium member, I certainly advise you to sign up for it. As we are getting down to the end of the Survivor Pool season, a lot of the lessons are going to have to do with short stack play and things like that, and really personalized looks. But still open for you. And just kind of give you a preview. If you thought that this was taxing on your brain, wait till you get to the NCAA bracket pool Survivor stuff. That is like a whole other level of brain melt. Okay, which we'll get to. It's definitely one of my favorite things to do is NCAA March Madness Survivor, but that's down the road. But with your subscription, I think you do get access to that as well. So yeah. In any case, as I mentioned before, as we get down into these middle to end weeks, who you are supposed to play is pretty much determined in some degree by who you've taken. Okay. There's very few kind of like smash plays that are that are one size fits all. That's why I'm really trying to emphasize when people ask me, oh, who do you like this week in this. I say it depends who you have left, how many people are in the pool, what and who they have left, and things like that. So the idea is that during the course of the season to teach you guys how to analyze these things for yourselves so that you can tailor it to your specific pool. Now we have taken under our wing the Adam Werhane and the hoops entries, which have been really good to track to help them, but help everybody else like kind of learn how to manage this stuff. And it's going to be fun. I really think that both of these dudes, there's Adam in the chat, both of these guys have set themselves up with a path. I mean, they really can get this done, and you just got to kind of stay on the ball and don't screw up. And obviously, it's going to be left to the football gods in great degree, but you got some stuff, guys. I mean, really, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I'm telling you, I couldn't even wait. Like Sunday night, I was already analyzing both of your guys' stuff for the coming weeks, and I think you'll appreciate my thoughts on how you're supposed to look at your entries. So I guess last week what happened? So the Eagles and the Ravens both lost on Thanksgiving. That, I mean, if you've heard through the grapevine, caused total destruction to the huge Circa pool that has like 18 million for first. It's out in Vegas. Just because the way the structure of that pool is, everybody had to take somebody on Thanksgiving. So when the two biggest favorites that everybody had been saving both went down, it was a freaking colossal train wreck. I mean, that pool went from 900 down to 45 in like one day. So good for the people that dodged all those bullets. Yeah. And then on Sunday, the big knockout was the Rams. So if you're unfortunate to have taken Eagles, Rams, or Ravens, then it certainly hurts you, But again, all you could do is put yourselves in the right position to win and get yourself the most EV. Speaking of which, we're going to continue to use this tool, but as we get down to this portion, like these default, pick percentages are not going to be particularly relevant, well, they'll be relevant to some pools, but, everybody's pool is different at this point. So we're going to have to be really, really careful about saying what these guys are going to be owned. Like Cleveland at 12% could be 12% owned in single pick pools, but in doubles, they might be more. Tampa at 52% might be right in single picks, but in doubles, they might be 80. You know what I mean? So we'll have to really talk about that. But this tool is going to be, it's very important to me when I use it to customize my short stack EVs. And we'll talk about that. Just to kind of give you a summary of what happened in our pools. So this was we'll get back to these in a second. Let's do the high stakes pools. The bad news was in this 5K that both Title and I were in. We both went down here. Title made a very aggressive play here. He had the Rams available, but in an attempt to save the Rams for 17, I imagine, which was very, very sharp. He took a pretty calculated risk and went down to Philly. I actually suggested on the stream last week that he could have taken a very aggressive stance to play Miami to save the Rams. So he did not exactly this, but like something a little different. I don't know if I would have burned a team like Philly that I could have used in 15 or 16 for that purpose, but I'm sure he had, the reasoning was sound enough that you wanted to save the Rams for when really nobody was going to have them. I, on the other hand, I actually went with the Rams and I went down too. So that's just kind of the way it is. And then our old friend Galen Hall, which I haven't decided whether I want to talk about him or not. He went down with Philly in this one as well. So unfortunately, that's down to 14 now without us in it. The other big high stakes one that I'm in is actually this one. I went with the Chargers because my idea, and I'll get into more of this tomorrow, and I already started to fill in who I might want going forward, or at least possibilities. My whole idea, as you remember me talking about last week, was all my leverage was New England. So I wanted to make sure I got there. Now, what ended up happening was I made a mistake. I really considered playing Miami because look at what happened with this pool. Everybody except for one person took LAC. So if Mark Grigorich, he was getting 11-1 odds pretty much on this play after Baltimore was eliminated. Actually, the Rams were still live there, so he could have won the whole pool if the Chargers lost. They didn't, but that's that was something I was considering doing in Miami, but I figured it was better to just kind of wait for my leverage in week 17. So we'll talk about that. The two big splash pools. First of all, the splash 2.5 million, that's down to 334, and Ship It Nation is still live. He actually did do exactly what I suggested this time, and went with Miami and LAC and advancing. We'll talk about him tomorrow. And then in this Ship It Nation tournament with 250,000 left, both of our friends are still in this. So first of all, Ship It Nation Hoops account, I believe the same entry. Yep. And he's down with that same thing. And then our friend Adam from the chat here went with I said Miami, and I kind of left the other decision up to him, right? I'm like, whatever you want. Philly, could have seen you trying that and lost. I could have seen you trying San Francisco and winning. And you picked a good one. You picked Jacksonville. So you're in there, and you're not as bad off as you think, dude. I'm telling you, I know you feel as though we had to play the Rams last week, and it felt kind of ugly, but we did it for portfolio management purposes. And I promise you that if you didn't play LA and got through with somebody else, I would have demanded and made you play the Rams this in 13, and then you'd be out. Okay, so we are live and moving on, and your path is really not that bad. We will get to it. Circa, I mentioned already. We talked about that. I'm not in it. And there are some other fun ones that we could talk about if you want. Like there's this on Splash. There's this triple extra bloody pool where you have to pick three. You have to pick 3 picks per week, and I'm in that thing. I got through 3 entries in that last week, including a really cool one. I got the Jets through. And then I'm already starting to plan out my map for the for the remainder of the tournaments. Again, if you play on Splash, you could already put the stuff in, just to kind of see what it all looks like. I guess again, that's pretty much all I have. We will talk about individual pools. We'll talk about Adams entries. We'll talk about Hoops entries. We'll talk about my high stakes entries. And we'll talk about how to play these short slates, because that's what this is. It's only 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Only 5 more weeks. For some of you, it's only 5 more picks. For some of you, it is 10. But that is going to do it. Good luck, everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow.